Hey folks, it's Nate coming at you. It is raining heavily outside, so and I did want to get this blade style demo done tonight. So I'm inside, sort of rigged up my camera to try and get it right at the right level, I think, where I can do this demo. So let's hope this works out. So tonight I'm going to demo for you the full run through of Visions BladeStyles from episode 1, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, and episode 8 that I've done. And so these are the him and hers from the duel episode 1. Then this is F's blade style from the Village Bride episode 4, Kara's blade from episode 5, Toby and the Inquisitor from episode 6, and Lope's blade style from episode 8. So let me, and then I'm going to do this on the...
I am Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight.
On my modified Eris that just got back to me the other day, which I'm absolutely loving. This thing is a beast of a saber. This has got, I forget the guy, I think it's Noah something. He's got these marble crystal chambers. It's got one of those crystal chambers in there. It's like a marble shaped. And it's got some really cool mods on the back here. This is all done up by Daniel Rochert over at Arc Sabers, Sabersmith. Did a fantastic job on this. Some great weathering all over it. But this, I especially just love this breakthrough that he did with the crystal chamber. This is just absolutely beautiful. Blows my mind. And then this jewel up top above the etching, this is actually the retention blade, the retention screw for the blade. So that actually works out really, really well. Because as you know, I like retentions that are high up on the blade. But anyway, so let's get started.
Just a simple wonder.
So this is my Ronin blade style. This is a hypersensitive unstable, and I'm using a localized clash effect. I'm also using a custom stab that I got from Brian Connor. That's a template that I use this custom stab with. So I'm also using an orange-red emitter flare down at the bottom. It's blasters.
Just a simple wonder.
There's the post off. Now this is the her blade, the Sith Bandit.
Disgraceful.
I'm using an overload preon on hers. This drops down into a low red. This is a low res red. It's like a 30-00. Now I am using a force effect on hers.
I told you to throw down.
The force effect brightens the blade, and then it also ignites a customized unstable swing that I put together. I based it off of I I based it off of Fett's Unstable Fire Swing, and then I just completely tweaked with the timings on that until it was literally unrecognizable. And so you come up with something much more micro. I wanted a micro swing, is what I wanted.
Magina, may you rise.
All right, this is F's blade style from The Village Bride. This is a custom yellow that I'm using. And then on the inside, I'm actually running a rain dent. I'm running essentially black sparks in the middle to try and give the blade appearance a little bit more texture, a little bit more fuzziness. I was really going after that brighter in the middle and darker yellow up on the edges. And then this base blade style is a per flicker LED blade style. And it's doing a very, very minor brightness on the top half of the blade on the swing. I'm doing like a 15 to 20% brightness increase on the swing. You can barely tell. Very subtle. So that one I'm not using a force effect. It's mostly just the main blade. But it is a very, very bright blade. I'm really happy with how that one turned out. So this one is Kara's blade from episode 5. And this is a blade style that Shane Overton and I both we collaborated on. We built this one together. I really like the way this one turned out. So this blade drops into a low res green. It's like a 0-10-0. And this is an audio flicker. And then it's also running a black behind it on the main blade, which gives it a little bit of that strobe effect. Three types of custom orange on the blasts. I tried to get it to look as much like the blasts from the show as I could. I got pretty close. And then on the Clash, using a green-yellow, which comes out really nicely on top of that low-res green. And then here's her force effect, which is essentially her transition to the blade fully recognizing her as a Jedi Wing of Brightness. And then it will drop down out of the force effect back to the main blade after about 10 or 15 seconds. But for those of you who want this blade style, we encourage you to tweak with that value and set it for as long as you want. And in fact, in the style code that I have in Pastebin, I do indicate in the style code where that value is that you can change to make that brighter section of the blade last for a lot longer if you would like.
My name is Toby, and I'm a Jedi!
So here's episode 6. Here's Toby's blade. This is a custom cyan color, sort of somewhere near the 175, 175 to 200 range, somewhere in there. It's about like an 80% cyan. Using custom orange and using a pale purple on the lightning block, and then I'm using a custom orange for the flash on flash and for the lockup. That's using like a compound color of like Misty Rose as well as a custom orange paired together. So you'll notice the edges of the bump are a little bit lighter than the center. And the main blade here is a static blade. It's just a single color. There's no mixture on the main blade at all. And then here's his force effect, which is the droid power pack effect, where he puts the droid on his back and then he gets this burst of energy, and all of his joints go purple.
CO3, let's go! CO3, let's go!
So what I'm doing there is I'm doing a brief violet blade, which is also throwing like sparkles, rain sparks, in the original blade color.
CO3,
again.
let's go!
And again, that's another one of those force effect timings where you can definitely change the value in there if you want on your own version of the style code, and make it last for a lot longer if you would like. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, when you're tweaking other folks' style codes, those are usually the things I like to tweak, is like, you know, how long that force effect will last, things like that. So here is the Inquisitor version from episode 6.
Jedi.
Now this is a custom, not custom, but this is a paler red. So what this is this is a red plus tomato on a per flicker LED base blade. So it's going to show up a little bit more pale than a standard red. And it's got a very mild, unstable swing. Now the color of the lockups and the clashes are essentially the same color as Toby's main blade. Which coincidentally ended up working really, really well against this particular color of red. And then here's his force effect, which is essentially his lightning summon that he does. Which then sits at the hilt for a few seconds and then clears away. So that's the Inquisitor from episode 6, and then this last one, but certainly not least, This is Lopes blade style from episode 8, and this is a green.
We can rebuild this family!
So this is a mix. Let me double check, but I believe I did this up as a mix between a hump flicker and a per LED flicker. Let me just double check. It's gonna be at the very bottom here. What did I do this up as? Yeah, so I did this as a mix. And this has got sort of a very hypersensitive, unstable swing. So yeah, the base blade is a mix. It's running some style fire code, like a flame blade code. It's also running some audio flicker effects at the base, as well as some random per LED flicker. So it's, even though it looks like just a regular flicker you can see when I move it, it's a really, really active bass blade. And then what I also did was I made the unstable swing. It goes to a green-yellow. So the bass blade at rest is a green, and then the swing is a green-yellow. It's got some localized flash clashes and blasts. And the lightning block, actually the lightning block, I'm not sure if any of you remember the blade style demo I did for Mother Talzin, the blade style I did for Mother Talzin, the Great Mother. That lightning block is very, very close to, the one I did here is very, very close to that one in terms of the color coordination. It's got some blues, some purples, and some whites, which would go really, really well against a green blade in my opinion. I've got another custom stab on this one, and I pulled the source code for that custom stab is the one I pulled from Brian Connor's Maw blade style, but then what I do is, you know, like with most custom codes that I grab from other places, I muck around with it until it does what I want it to do, and then I use it for other styles. And so in this particular one, the color coordination and the depth of the stab is a little bit different, and then I'm using sort of shades of green and green-yellow on this stab, and orange. And then I don't remember if I did anything on the force effect.
This ancient weapon represents the bond between parent and child.
No, I didn't. So it looks like the only thing I did on the force effect is I just did like a force aura effect where it just makes the blade blink for a little bit.
This ancient weapon represents the bond between parent and child in the family.
So those are my finalized versions of the Visions BladeStyles. I've had some requests from some of you to do BladeStyle versions of the Elder and Daniel from, I think, I'm going to say episode 2 or 3, and then also of the twins. I might go back and do some for the Elder episode. I'm likely not going to do an attempt from the twins, because anything I do from the twins episode is going to be complete, like, artistic interpretation. as the way that their lightsabers were sort of depicted in that episode, at least from my opinion, were a little too abstract for something for me to like make any sort of straightforward interpretation from the screen to a NeoPixel blade. So like any kind of style I would build for the twins would literally just be like pure artistic interpretation. So I'm likely not going to do those unless, you know, something just occurs to me and I just can't put it out of my head until I put it down in a blink, in which case I will. But likely I'll probably do something for the Elder in a little bit after I finish up a couple of other things I'm doing. But that'll likely be like, I don't know, maybe in a week or two. But yeah, so anyway, it was a lot of fun building these styles. You know, it was definitely a labor of love in some instances. I would say the most difficult one of all of these was the Inquisitor Blade, because I was really trying to capture the correct version of the red color from the episode, and in so doing, I sort of, no pun intended, but I sort of painted myself into a corner where a lot of the coordinating colors that I would normally use for a red blade, like for clashes, lockups, and all of that, didn't really work with that color, that version of a red. They just didn't, either they were too strong or too light. And so I really had a difficult time doing some color coordination. And it wasn't really until I started thinking of the Inquisitor Blade and Toby's Blade as a pair, like as a, you know, as complementary to each other, where I started to get like better coloring on the blades, really, for both of them. But the thing is, I'd already had Toby's blade style done at that point, and then went back to do the Inquisitors. So in doing that, I kind of had to pull Toby's blade style apart a little bit and put it back together. And then I was able to get something for the Inquisitor blade, which, like, at least in my head, made sense and looked good. But anyway, that's enough rambling for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. All right, may the Force be with you. Take care.